Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give y'all a little bit of time to tune in. For those who was already somewhat tuned in, apologies. Yeah, been another one of those, another one of those. Hence why I had to push it back, but nonetheless, you know, I gotta come bring something to the people. Jewel, what's going on, baby? First things first, you already know. Hopefully, everybody had a blessed and productive Sunday, and hopefully, everybody had a blessed weekend all in all. For those in the city, yeah, it's been a wet one kind of all weekend, but nonetheless, still a blessed one. Popcorn, what's going on, my guy? For those who might be out and about, especially the weather messed up, yeah, make sure you keep the light on, brother. At least it's not cold, so. But still, nobody want to be soaking wet and getting sick, especially those traveling on the train. Again, it's all about just keeping your health preserved, and that's really about it. Together, what's going on? What's going on? Appreciate everybody that tuned in Friday for the conversation. Um, definitely one that was definitely one that was needed. And I know I was MIA yesterday for most of y'all, but hey, you gonna get days like that. Nonetheless, you know, it makes for a better conversation sometimes. Because this conversation I don't like having, but we got that's one problem I'm gonna say in the community we're gonna definitely have to fight. Um, Story I read earlier. This is why I said it's volatile, and this is even in all industries of play. It's good to really do background and psychological tests on specific people because you don't know who exactly you have coming in to your establishment, and that could be a problem. Um, Story I read is kind of made me mad too because this is one problem we do have. Now it's bad enough for some, right? Cat, what's going on for some? We seeing the surge and the rise of the migrant problem, right? But what about the problems that's already like existing here with people who are illegals or who have been illegals or undocumented, basically? Um, they still at a risk too. So, story goes, this landlord has been charged actually with, you know, I hate having these convos. Kev, what's going on? The the R word basically of an undocumented worker. I know I gotta be eerie on here because they don't want you to say certain words, but basically that woman was sexually attacked in the worst way. Now, this was my problem to a degree. It's bad enough you got these migrants going through stuff as we speak now, and they just got here. But now we got people who have already been here who was unlisted as citizens that are going through the same crime. Now, these crimes is definitely heartbreaking, at least in my opinion, because how could you make any report on anything if you don't even have documents proving that you are a citizen here or proving that you were born here, something along those lines? I've seen one or two shows where they tackle the situation just like that. And it actually came from the headlines. Like, we have people here that are undocumented that have been here longer than 5 years. I've always felt if somebody has been here long enough and been on the soil, they should be able, at least in my opinion, to go for the citizenship, or they should be able to just be considered a U.S. citizen, especially if they learned and adapted everything basically. But it is sad because the ones that are here Again, some of them will maintain and keep their original dialect of talk and everything else. But I felt bad, at least in that opinion, because that could have been somebody's mother if she don't already have kids. Could have been somebody's aunt, sister. Like, this is the sickness that we see going on just in general, period. And why is it being accepted? Serious, what's going on, baby? Hammer, what's going on, baby? It is sad when it wouldn't even matter about the race. Because again, we have people from all over the country, from all over the world. We have people who have come from different spots of the world. And the saddest part again is they've been here a little long enough, but still can't get a lot of the requirements and a lot of the services they need. And some of them are scared to do anything because they are afraid to get sent back to their country. So some of them will lay low or at least try to keep themselves under radar until they can decide they course of action on how they're gonna do things. And what's going on, baby? Now again, I feel bad because again, that's somebody's mother or aunt, and I don't care what the situation is. That don't give you the right to just attack because you want to attack. See, there's some people who again need to learn self-control, and that means on all levels. When you don't have self-control, when you don't have logic and reason, you'll get situations like that. Pure evilness right there. Now again, that woman probably gotta not so much as face scrutiny, but she gotta face something that she's never faced before, especially being here. So it's the sad part about it. And you supposed to be a landlord, a quote unquote person who's supposed to be, yeah, making sure that you're doing what you need to do for your buildings and your tenants. How do you go from doing that to R word and basically the cleaner? Like, make it make sense. James, what's going on? That's why I was feeling the type of way about this situation with the migrants coming because look at the people who have already been here long enough and they going through the headaches and the hassles. They going through specific crimes that they should never go through. Some of them are facing deportation just because they went to report a crime, even if it happened to them. Which is sad because again, if they've been here long enough, they should be granted that regardless. But again, you got to start being on lookout, being on go because it's obvious in this day and age, they're just allowing any and everybody to get a job, basically. And honestly, that's the scariest thing when you have somebody slips through the cracks. They end up becoming a part of your company or whatever, and then they go to that route. Now, again, don't know what could actually happen in this situation. I'm going to try to follow up on that one. But again, she shouldn't have had to go through that at all. Not when you coming to do a job that's supposed to be, keeping money in your pocket, but also a job that's supposed to be keeping you afloat. And there'll be situations like that, especially if it is their first time dealing with a situation like that, that they could possibly freeze up or just black out to the point of neglecting themselves and neglecting the people around them. Now, again, you're not just affecting one person, you're affecting more than one person with actions like that. Realist, what's going on, my guy? It's sad, again, the day and age where some of you men out there who should have self control and some sort of self dignity in class. Self control in the first place, because again, you should be in control of every little action and thought that's being processed regardless. Now, there's no way in the hell you could tell me he was that fiend out for that. Again, we have situations like that. We got to deal with the deviancy of quote unquote grown men and even grown women who are being a part of these type of attacks, which is, again, it's not looking good. It's a real black eye in a community, period. Not just one, but every community. Because that type of crime affects every woman who has been a victim of that crime or could possibly be a victim of that crime. Hate bringing up these topics, but again, that's just a sad notion again. The sad part about it is, again, that's another situation where trust just went out the window because of that type of attack. And some of y'all should have some self-control because guess what? There's only a select few options when it comes to running down that road and thinking you're going to keep doing what you don't. You're either going to meet your untimely end or you're going to be doing a lot of time in jail. And some of those consequences, you're going to suffer right behind those bars because there's nothing that some of these inmates hate more. Shoot, most of them inmates hate more than pedophiles and sexual predators on that line. Even people who are hurting women and kids along that, they ain't trying to hear that. They not trying to hear that at all. And these is not opinions because I know people who have been locked up and they said the same damn thing. Those type of people will always be on a radar because they're not supposed to be in the same class with these people. I'm not going to be sitting here with a bunkmate, prime example, and that bunkmate has done some things that I know morally is wrong and I should be on his neck for. I remember that story, like I told y'all, when the inmate had um, he killed somebody that was in jail. And the sad part about it was he didn't feel no remorse, but I don't blame him for not feeling no remorse because you have done some horrible things, done horrible things to women and kids, and you thought it was just going to go unpunished because you got locked up. No, you're going to have to worry. A lot of y'all are going to end up being in PC. Why? Because you're not going to be able to be in the general population with your charge, especially if it's on that line, and thinking you're going to survive. We have seen countless videos and situations and scenarios where it don't end up being well for those people who were doing the attacking and abusing. And they will be the main ones when something happens, they want to play victim. But you can't play victim and want sympathy when you didn't have that same compassion to the person you did those things to. So just prepare for that for a lot of y'all. If you're not going to be in control of yourself, these are the consequences you're going to suffer. And even if you don't get caught by the law, even if you don't suffer in jail, you will suffer at some point. You forgot in certain spots, communities, they're not playing that when it comes to those type of attacks. You have actual men and women who stand on and will stand against those type of damn. Like, we're not playing that. There's no way you could tell me you felt comfortable again going that far just for gratification. Pointless. Doing all of that, absolutely nothing, and you're not gaining nothing. And even if you think you're gaining something, you're really not, because that person you hurt ain't gaining nothing. Only thing they're gaining is heartache and hurt and confusion. Because in certain instances, a person will be that damn confused that they will feel like the situation that happened to them is their fault, and it's not. There are a lot of women who actually thought they were the reasons why They got sexually attacked the way they did, and they wasn't their fault. This is why you have to be, and I'm gonna say this again, ladies. You got to be mindful and careful with certain situations, and when it seemed like it could go for the bad, follow your gut. And again, in this case right here, there's some companies that again you need to do more than just a thorough background check as far as just a criminal record. And a lot of times you just gotta follow protocol. If something don't seem right, even with your employee, uh, you find out what you need to find out, and then from there, you make the right choices and careful decisions. And this is crazy again because you got people who are dealing with this that have been here, whether they are documented or not. We have too many people who are facing this type of crime every day. And again, the fact that you had to worry about that and you're going to work, that's not cool. Lady Shay, what's going on, baby? Coming out the shadows with your Sassone packs, baby. Y'all already know if y'all just tuned in at the like button. It should never get to a point where you feel unsafe. It should never get. And I would say this again. For you women out there, if you feel it's an unsafe situation, please do not hesitate to do what you need to do because it is for survival. And again, nobody should ever have to go through that. I ain't messing with you, Queen. Get up out of here with that, man. We know you ain't got no flavorless chicken. Pull out the Sassone packs. Let's go. Let's go. Pull out the adobo. Pull out the slap your mama seasoning. Pull out all of that. Nah, it's all good. Appreciate everybody for tuning in on this late edition. Um, Another thing I'm gonna get into tonight that's kind of ticking me off. I read a story about now we got muggers that are attacking kids. Forget attacking adults. They're attacking kids now. There was a couple people that was a victim of muggers, basically. And these is grown ass men and women. Again, I just told y'all the situation about the young boy, well, the young boy that got beat on a train with a belt by a couple people, including the girl. And my thing is, again, this is what I'm talking about. Grown ass men and women that's supposed to be grown ass men and women doing crimes like that to people that are way younger than them. And my thing is, for some of y'all that are doing these type of crimes, if you got kids, would you want that shit happening to your kids? That's a question that you should ask. Would you want that happening to anybody in your family, anybody around you that you deem that you love? And how would you act in that situation right there? Come on now. It should never get that desperate for some of y'all to where you again start attacking the damn kids. That's a no-no, man. And you definitely don't get no cool points. See, again, there are people like you that are doing stupid crimes, playing stupid games, and you're gonna get a stupid prize. That stupid prize, you're gonna end up getting caught by that law, and you're gonna get caught by the people that don't really appreciate y'all type of people. Sorry to say it that way. No, it's bad enough again. You got elders being attacked, elders being robbed at gunpoint, and all this other stuff going on there. And now you got to worry about not so much as the women, but the kids too. Come on, make it make sense. And that's another way again of traumatizing these youth. Again, you're traumatizing them by committing these type of acts of crime. Yeah, yeah, Lady Shay. Situation again. You got grown men robbing these kids, and for what? Grown men and women doing acts like that towards youth. Make it make sense. Some of these people are doing these type of acts because it's been done to them. And in order for them to quote unquote get they get back, they're gonna get back at all of the people that don't need to be getting back at, which is crazy. If you was a victim of any type of attack while you was young and you didn't say nothing when you was young, when you get that opportunity, you should actually say something. Open your mouth and be free and let that go. You can't live with that pain, you can't live with that guilt, and you can't live with those type of things on your mind. And yet and still it shouldn't be enacted on people that had nothing to do with it. Lisa J, what's going on, baby? No, it's the craziest thing again. Physical attacks, sexual attacks, or just all in all psychological attacks, period. Again, it messes with their mental and their psyche, especially when they're that young. And for you to even want to commit any type of crimes like that towards somebody, you either got to be A, sick, or B, you just gotten to a point where you don't care. And if you gotten to a point where you don't care, don't expect people to care for you when you get that justice reenacted on it. And there are a lot of you who will suffer at some point. You're going to get exactly what you put out there. And it's sad. I mean, cost you, what would cost you your freedom, your livelihood, and even your piece of sanity? You know, it's dangerous. Because again, how much self control do you have? How much wisdom and knowledge could you have? And there should be wisdom enough to know not going to get away with specific crimes forever. You might be on a roll because you might not be out there getting caught or getting ran down on, but at some point your luck runs out. Because again, you got to live with that on your conscience. Nobody else but you. You have to live with that. You have to live with the fact that you allowed yourself to go far and beyond and you didn't care. So again, when these revenges come back, they bittersweet to a degree. There's a few things I'm gonna talk about tonight. I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit too, in case anybody want to chime in on this. But that right there is a public service announcement that even down to the main adults that say they are for their community, start paying attention and watching out for some of these people that look too uncharacteristic and too shady. You're gonna have to. Because again, when you are turning your eyes the other way, you are allowing specific dangers to continue to happen, in which they should. Give me 1 second. Oh man, my bad. You know I gotta get my magic jar. I need to calm down because I hate hearing stories like that again. Those are the type of attacks that again, you know, there are some people who are willing not much to crash out, but they're gonna make sure they get what's needed and necessary. You know, in some cases, when it comes to devious crimes and despicable crimes, trust me, sometimes the justice will come before you even get yourself really even turned in. Trust me, it will. And again, nobody should have to suffer these traumatic experiences, especially at that young age. No kid should have to worry about getting robbed for possessions or anything, and especially by grown-ups. Grown-ups that should know better and have enough sense and enough within themselves to get themselves together. It's foul. It's foul because again, you're not solely just taking away specific things. but you are creating and causing trauma. Now that kid might not feel safe at all. That kid might actually decide to shut down and don't let their parents in. Again, parents, start being aware of your kids, your guardians, whoever. Be aware and make sure everything is all right. If something don't seem right, have a discussion and talk. And if that person is not willing to talk, then 9 out of 10, you know something definitely serious happened, and you need to still do your investigation and research. It's not fair because when you set those dramas and those traumatic events in front of these people, there's no coming back. Some of them are gonna start moving a certain way. They're gonna start doing things they know they wasn't accustomed to doing. Shoot, they might actually do something that they know could be detrimental even to themselves. But because of the mind state they're in, it's going to be the bad thing about it. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. I'm sorry, like we got to start coming back as a community to combat and fight specific situations. And once people do get wind of certain things, there should be no second guessing. There should be nothing along those lines. There should be accountability held at all costs. And for those who are committing crimes against these youth, just know, again, I believe in the karma. That karma will be coming at some point swift, or it's going to come as hard. That man upstairs is not pleased regardless with some of the actions that are happening. There are a lot of y'all who are going to have to answer for that. And you will have to stand your ground on what you're going to have to stand your ground on. You want to stand your ground and still go that far, right? So you might as well take it all the way through. And that means even go through the consequences that come. Didi, what's going on, baby? No, again, that is the craziest part about it. Now these kids are gonna have to either A, walk around scared as hell, or some of them might not even come out. Some of them might not want to come out. We've had situations where people have been robbed, whether it was violently or not, and they were scared to come outside because they were scared another attack could happen on them. Those are the ones that should never have to suffer that. Because again, you have to live your life no matter what's going on. But again, that is the worst stigma and the worst type of anything to place on a child. It's crazy. Again, and you're not just causing trauma to that child because if they got parents that actually love them and care for them, now you got them wild up and ready for any type of revenge and action. Again, you have to remember that you are doing things along those lines that ain't good and ain't never end up well neither. Prime example, y'all remember some of y'all seen that instance when the two sons beat up the guy in the courtroom, literally dragged his ass around the courtroom and all, whooping on him because he killed their mother. Now, my thing is again, you're gonna commit a crime, it should never lead to that stage anyway. Because again, you don't know who these people are attached to, who they really have ties with, and you don't know how much love they could have even within their community. Now, in that instance right there, yeah, they're gonna try to charge him with something just for attacking or just for attacking this dude in the court. But still, you can't, you can't negate the fact that again, these kids are feeling pain. We just lost our mother to a senseless act, and we lost them to somebody that act like they didn't care. So how do you expect people to really react when you got people, some of these people actually be joking, making fun. The ones that are doing stuff like that, you could tell there's something wrong with them for real, that their spirit and their soul is gone. And you got those who are only doing things because they feel it's an intimidation factor. But there's some people who are not going to be intimidated, not even by the damn law. And if they feel they're going to do what they're going to do, they're going to do it. Ladies, again, start protecting yourselves. And I mean at all costs. Mace, stun gun, all of that. Protect yourselves. When you don't have protection, protect yourselves. You know you might be, you could be followed, or you could be feeling like somebody following you. Pay attention to your surroundings. And honestly, there are a lot of you who, the reason why I say I don't feel bad for the things that are to come for you, because again, my personal opinion is that again, it should never happen. Certain attacks should never be placed on kids, on elders, even on the women. It is time for community change and things. Again, this is one element we have to get out of these communities, or at least start paying more attention to. Because you don't know who your neighbors are, you don't know what they really could be into, and even if things seem cool, that don't mean it could be. In order to avoid some of these attacks from happening again, you have to start paying attention to the people in your community. I wouldn't care if they had kids or not. Pay attention to the people in your community. In my opinion, for these type of people, you would hope they don't have kids, because again, how could you feel comfortable enough attacking somebody else's when you got your own to worry about? I could never push myself to attack a kid in any way, shape, or form, especially if I know I got kids. I couldn't do it. And see, not to be funny, even when they're young, they could be predators, prime example. Depending on the background, depending on not so much as just the family, but the people they lie around with, they could be learning and picking up certain things that they shouldn't be picking up. And we can still have that same problem right now as we speak. Most instances, again, self-control is supposed to be the most important factor of all of it. If you don't have any type of self-control, your life is going to be filled with headaches and more anger than anything. It's going to be filled with anger because you trying to control a situation. But there's some situations you can never control. You can't control how somebody feels, especially after they've been attacked. You can't control that. And the one thing you should never do, and I'm going to say this for some who need to hear it. If your friend, family, or anybody has been victims of these type of attacks, don't make no jokes about it. Definitely don't make jokes about it. And definitely don't try to Don't try to disturb the balance, basically. There's some people who, again, were victims of an attack and they completely shut down or they just completely stopped trusting people because, again, you've had close people who have made fun or probably didn't believe the situation. Which, again, I'm going to say this. If you really were the victim of a sexual attack or anything along those lines, you should never stay silent. You should open your mouth and you need to fight and stand up. It might be hard to do, but you're going to have to do it because nobody else is going to do it for you. Or nobody else can help you if you're not willing to get the help. Don't refuse the help when somebody's trying to offer it to you. And again, when you are supposed to be a friend of somebody, those type of situations, you don't poke fun at, you don't throw it in their face, and you don't make them feel like they're the reason that it happened. Especially when you know they wasn't the reason of it happening. Because that will definitely drive them to a point where it could be detrimental for themselves. They might end up harming themselves because of that. There's some people walking around as we speak right now as adults that have been victims of specific crimes all around the board. And again, this is where we get back into the community. They are releasing and unleashing that type of rage and aggression and even that type of psychopathic behavior on the people that have nothing to do with their specific traumas. Again, there's some of you who have to realize that some people are just not going to be for you when it comes to those situations. And my thing is, you have to be mindful and trustful with the right people. If this is a person that you know is always going to run their mouth, I don't think you should be telling them your situation. Or you tell your situation to those who you know is going to not so much as keep your secret, but it's actually going to help you in the event you need that help. My prayers go to that lady because, again, she could be a mother. I couldn't even fully read the whole story because, again, the fact that it happened and the fact that that person might have to live with that type of pain, God knows for how long it's going to take for her to heal mentally and spiritually. It's not fair. And I would say this in a certain instance right here. And I speak to those who could be on that path to deviancy. Think clearly before you do. Because I got a question for you. How would you feel? Prime example. If your mom's wasn't sexually attacked and had you, why would you feel comfortable doing that to somebody else's? Tanya, what's going on, baby? You got to start asking logical questions. And that's why I said there's some of y'all who will never be in control or have self control of yourself because you're not thinking clear. You're only thinking about the now moment. You're only thinking about that point of time. You're not thinking about nothing else. You're not thinking about what the outcome could be, not thinking about what it could be for you or for that other person. And yes, giving a fair warning, it might trigger some people. Because again, there have been people who have been victims of these type of crimes and attacks. And they go silent because they are too scared to say something. A child should never have to break down or go into any type of shell shock because they've been harmed. It's the same way with women. They shouldn't have to worry about going into a shell shock or being a shell of them old selves because of these type of attacks. Because you're not just taking something from them mentally or physically. You're taking something from them spiritually. And again, with them, it could be a long road to recovery. Some people will never recover because once they've already been attacked, you've already done all the damage in one fell swoop. No kid, no adult, no elder, shoot, not even another grown man should have to worry about attacks that could be dangerous to them and mess with their psyche. You robbing young boys, guess what? Them same young boys at some point, be it they end up becoming the robbers or they end up becoming just overall damage. Their lives will be in shambles because of those type of attacks. It is time again to start looking at what you need to look at in your community. When you see people are not moving the right type of way, or you see that this is a continuous act on things, you got to stand on it. Miss T, what's going on, baby? I'm sorry, but when does the cycle of physical violence and sexual violence come to a stop? I'll be honest with you. It feels like it's going to be a repeated pattern throughout life. You're going to get some good wins. You're going to get some bad losses. Certain days you might break even. For every negative that you hear, you're probably going to hear at least two to three positive. And definitely, you know, if it can be stopped, for those who know it can be intervened. If you feel something is that wrong and it could go left, intervene. You never know what you'll end up doing. You could save a major crisis from happening by actually standing your ground and standing what you need to stand on. Prime example, y'all remember a while back I told you the story about the homeless man that I think he poked one of them three guys that was trying to attack. And my thing is, again, you know somebody homeless, you know they ain't a bother to nobody. Why is it always y'all trying to gang up on somebody? That's one thing I hate more than anything. Is when you have to gang up on somebody. Now that man did what he was supposed to do because again, I'm being attacked and I'm not even bothering nobody. I think one of them did get poked. If he did, good. And that should be a lesson for a lot of y'all. They're gonna be people that you're gonna try to commit crimes on that they gonna be a step ahead of you. They probably either prepared for these type of situations, or even if they haven't, they just gonna be ready to go. And there are some people who will go to the depths just because, again, they're not going to have the satisfaction or let you have the satisfaction of getting away with specific crimes that you know is wrong, you shouldn't be doing in the first place. Again, that's the most cowardice thing you can do is gang up on somebody. I've always believed when you gang up on people, 9 out of 10, it's because you all are cowards. It's my view and opinion on it. It's cowardice at the end of the day. And for you to even have to, again, do specific things that are going to cause a hellfire, basically, It's real sickening and it's pointless at this point. Now, it is. It's pointless because there'll be the same people that will cry about not changes, about nothing changes and nothing can change, and you're actually being a part of the destruction again. You are. There should be no reason why, again, people have to gang up to get a quote unquote thrill or gratification on something. And it's clear as day. You know, it's clear as day that it's gonna be a problem at some point. Because guess what? Y'all gonna try to gang up on the wrong person or the wrong people, then it can end up wrong for you. Because you don't know who or what you might be running into. You might think you're gonna run into an easy situation and you could be the victim of shoot going through specific charges and everything else. You might find yourself in a situation where you thought it was going to be an easy one, and you gonna see you gonna walk into a whole venue full of cops or agents, and you don't want that. I remember, and some of y'all might have remembered, guy ran up in the diner, thought he was going to do whatever, and didn't even know that whole diner was full of cops. So you went to go do something, and look what happened in that long run. Now, one gave himself up wisely. The other one still tried to go out and did go out. And it's sad about it because, again, you had time to really just sit there and think. The jig is up, man. You got caught. Again, you got to think about what's more important. Do I really want to be sitting in a cold ass cell, not coming home because I couldn't control my aggressions, my control pulse, or nothing? Nah, I'm not gonna be doing that. That's something that really should be sitting in the minds of some of you. Because there's some of you who you think you don't care, and you're only going again off of an emotion. But when the reality does sit in, and you realize that, damn, I messed up. I really messed up. It's gonna be too late. I'm telling you, this is not. This is not no damn rehearsal. This is not no reenactment to a movie. There's certain situations you don't get a restart button. You don't get a restart at all. Once you have already come far enough, you basically stuck in that lane. Now again, I want to make this clear. If you're an adult or supposed to be an adult and you are attacking again the elderly, and I ain't even speaking about the ones that got or really suffer from, mental psych and all of that, because we already know what that situation is with those people. You know, a lot of them really can't control that shit. But remember what I told you. When you were closing down a lot of their facilities and stuff like that to house those ones who really do have those type of aggressions, you're basically putting everybody in a bind. There's some of you who have actually taken certain concepts, even certain points from movies and books and think that this is the way that life works. It doesn't. It really doesn't work that way. You don't get to pick and choose who suffers, who gets hurt, who gets successful, and who don't. You can't pick and choose for everybody else's life. You have to pick and choose for your life. And again, we have certain crimes that are happening because these people have been victims. And no, I'm still not taking sides on that. I'm just letting it be known what it is. There are some people who are doing and enacting certain things because they have been victims to it, or they've been around people, or they've seen people who've been through it. Forget just learned behavior. If you are giving me something that I can't get away from, at some point I'm going to turn south. You know, and this is the craziest part about it all again. You don't pick and choose what you unleash onto people, especially people you don't know. Whatever's going on in your life, I'm going to say this from a real grown man perspective. No matter what life has thrown you or been throwing you, you still at some point should be in control of your emotions. Self growth and self control. You're never going to grow or you're never going to make anything beneficial in your life if you're not willing to try to take the chance on yourself and make it happen. Yeah, some of you are committing robberies because you're too lazy, again, to invest in yourself, or you're too scared to invest in yourself. Yes, I said it. You're scared. And if you ain't scared, you got to prove me wrong. You got to prove the world wrong. You got to prove the people around you wrong. So there's some of you who get well beside yourself. Oh, you don't know me. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know my story. I don't have to know your story to know if I read you and I read you well, I could break you down that quick. I don't have to know your story because you probably fit in one of the stories I've already probably done covered or talked about. It's the saddest thing in the world. Again, you want to prove everybody wrong, prove them wrong the right way. If you've been a victim of anything in life, you should get the proper healing at all costs. Because again, how are you going to be able to move the change forward in your life? You're busy struggling with the guilt of what's going on in your life now. It is time for some of y'all to stop being lazy, stop being trifling, stop being selfish, stop being destructive, or stop being a part of that. Even if you're not the one destroying, you're around people that are destroying and you're not doing anything or saying anything, pretty much guilty by association. But y'all do hear them sirens in the background, you know. Yeah, if you know, you know. I'm sorry, those type of blatant attacks and even those blatant robberies again will cause all sorts of the wrong triggers. Now we're going to get people produced in the world or produced into society that are going to end up doing the same exact crime. If not the same exact crimes, they're going to be thinking along that same level. My sole purpose is to make you suffer for my enjoyment of my game. Makes no sense. Again, I wouldn't care if you was young and old. Instead of you taking your time and calculating plans to just destroy and destroy at all costs, how about you rebuild at all costs? Rebuild your focus in life, rebuild your spirit, rebuild your thought process. If you really are a victim, or if you really have been subjected to a little bit of everything to where you have given up. Hopefully, you haven't given up. Really should. And again, why I keep causing these type of these pains that nobody should have to really suffer. A child that is not into certain situations or acts should never have to worry about being a part of one of them. Same way with the elders. Anybody basically who is hardworking or inspiring to be something in life great should not have to worry about these type of evils. Ah, man. At some point, you have to come to a conclusion in your life and make the best decision, and not again just go off an emotion or what you feel is the best option. You must also make sure that within that, that is leading to a road of prosperity and peace, not ignorance and death. Come to that realization already, man. You already know, Lady Shay, baby. Come on, realist. How you get caught in snow, son? Come on, son. Wait, brief intermission, y'all. Brief intermission. How you get caught up in snow, son? See. Come on, son. I thought you had all the big bags of salt up there, son. Come on, son. We ain't getting no salt down here, son. So we know y'all got it. Come on, son. Come on, let your neighbors downstairs get some of the good old salt. We need some just in case. We got another storm coming too. For those in the city and in the whole tri-state area, yeah, we got another one coming at some point. I don't know how bad, but just make sure you got yourselves prepared for the things you need. Come on, son. How you get caught up in the snow like that, son? Come on, son. Come on, son. Some spots that did have leftover snow is melting yet. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was looking kind of suspect for real, but nonetheless, it did get warm as all hell. But again, just keep yourselves on the up and up. Nobody's gonna make you feel grander than yourself. Nobody's gonna keep you as motivated and on your toes than yourself. So even in situations where it looked like it could be a loss forever, it might not be. It might just be a loss for that thing you was trying out. All right, if this didn't work, that clearly is giving you a sign that this isn't the route you should be moving to. Focus on something else for the time being. But again, it shouldn't have to come to the cost of those who don't need to be a part of it. There's certain things that I've always felt like this. You're going to commit crimes, you're going to be in the streets, you're going to do whatever. Then it should never have to put the real innocent bystanders and the real citizens at harm or risk because you just can't get it together. If you want to do street shit, then keep it with the streets. Don't involve people who are not from the streets into it. I'm not gonna lie, for real. It goes way back to what I've been saying. At some point, everybody in the community as a whole is just gonna have to really start keeping eyes and ears on certain things. And if you do feel like this is what it is, then yeah, it's about time for you to stand on it and get rid of it at all costs. You want the snow? Oh snap! She said she want the snow. No. Hey yo, realist, send the snow over there to Lady Shea Butter. She says she want the snow. And in fact, for everybody in the snowy areas, send Lady Shea some good old snow. Do the little rain dance. You know. And again, appreciate you, serious baby. Working harder than Carlton Banks when he was doing that dance, baby. And that's what I'm saying. You want to delve down those roads of no return. That's what it means. There is no returning. And if you return, it ain't gonna be the same. It ain't gonna be the same feel. It definitely ain't gonna be the same build. And depending on how far you went with whatever situation you decide to do, will be cost to that. And stop enacting your personal and your personal hurts and pains, your personal feelings towards the things that have happened to you on other people. You're not even fixing the problem. And you're still ripping yourself over. Some point again, love yourself so you can start loving the right people around you. Some point, some of these curses get broken by just strong awareness of yourself. If you know what you want and need, you're gonna have to work hard for it. Again, there is no shortcuts. And whatever shortcuts you may lie across, they don't last forever. At some point, you do run down. And at some point, you will run out of options. Because some of these situations is going to end up having you in those silver bracelets, taking away all the opportunity that you have while you are still here to be here to build. So, again, you have to come to a conclusion. There's a multitude of factors on why some of these damn crimes are continuously happening. Some of it placed on music. They'll try to place most of it on music, but it ain't the case. Music is a small portion of it. The actions that people are seeing in society is another one. Messed up visual views you get on here and all the other platforms, yeah, another reason. And when you are in an era where everything is being recorded all for the wrong reasons, a whole nother reason, a whole nother animal to deal with. Oh, and speaking of crime, I'm glad this came back up. Now, talking about the first part of this live about this woman, this should serve for a reason for, or it should serve as a real inspirational tool for a lot of people, including a lot of you young women out there who are still being a part of doing specific things that ruins lives. This woman was actually a victim of an attack. Probably had to go through as rape kits, all of that, right? She has to really live with that pain. There's some of you who, again, playing this situation of me too. I'm sorry, I gotta call it today. If you know you wasn't a victim of any type of attack, you don't play around with that because that in itself is a crime. It's a crime against your spirit. It's a crime against humanity. Because again, you have people who have been victims to that. And for you to even think the lie go against the grain just because of you being in your emotions, another reason why you should be in self-control of yourself. You can't be in control of others. Certain aspects of life you can't control. And if you put yourself in certain situations, don't lie. Do not lie. Ain't sitting right. Don't sit right at all. And again, some point you will start getting charged with a real crime. That is one aspect, in my opinion, of injustice on all angles that, again, should serve a purpose. Because I'm calling it down the middle like I always do. Because in this instance, when it comes for the men, you should have control over yourselves. Same thing for the women. And I'm calling it down the middle on all of that. The evil seeds that you sow will continue to breed evil in more than one way. Never been a victim of attacks? Don't lie about it. That is a crime against just the human spirit, period. Because you never know what that person had to endure, and you never know how long it took them to get back to some form of normalcy. There are a lot of you who will sit there and lie and make all sorts of accusations and knowing that it ain't true. But I would say in that instance right there again, it's all about self-control. Don't allow yourself to be in situations that could cost you. Again, I'm saying this on both angles. Some of you women need to stop lying about these attacks and you know you've never been a part of it. Because I guarantee you the ones who have will tell you a grim story. And we ain't talking about the ones who have came out and made it public. There are still people who have not said too much of anything. But if they tell you a story, it will break you down. So don't play games like that. If you made a mistake, you just made a mistake. It is what it is. You know, you learn, you move on. Catch myself again. My bad, y'all. Catch myself. Man, see, these are the type of attacks that some people never recover from. Again, you have people who have lost out a small piece or even a major piece of their life because of your lies and deceit. You should never think, you should never think that that's going to be unjustified at some point. Nah, it's going to get justified, and you're going to get crucified. Sorry to tell you that. Don't be surprised if at some point when they really start pushing certain bills, certain things along those lines, be prepared for it. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Don't be surprised if a lot of you, especially you young ones, that think that it's really a game and you're still gonna lie just to get what you want or lie just to okay. You're gonna get a harsh reality too. Some of y'all want that quote unquote equality, okay. You're gonna get the equal amount of time that a man would for doing the same things. Lying or doing certain things along those lines. Scamming and confusing. Can't do that. I would always say in that instance again, if you're out here doing things that you know is gonna bite you in the ass, hey, you have to stand up, take accountability, and responsibility for that. But don't negate from what I'm saying. You should never lie about people, or you should never lie about yourself being a victim of an attack, especially on that nature. Because again, it doesn't sit right with the ones who really have. I think karma comes back in a way that you don't like it. It might not happen to you again. It could happen within. The choices that you made on that level, you have to stick with those. Can you fix it? No, because it's already done. What you can do is learn from it. Take the most important aspects of it and then learn to grow from it. And you move on because, again, you have life. I would say you need to stop lying on those levels because you don't want to cry wolf and then it actually happens. Nobody gonna believe it, especially if you're a known liar. Nobody's gonna believe it, or it's gonna be hard to believe. Real Spirit, what's going on, baby? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. If y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry, but that's gonna keep the curse going around for the longest. You're lying about situations like that, and then you're letting people know that it's okay, or you trying to send the message that it's okay for that to happen, and it shouldn't. Again, y'all have to be careful of your decisions when it comes to that level. I definitely want to give a healing prayers to those who need it on all levels. Even people who really were victims of these type of specific crimes. Yeah, I got to give one for y'all because it's sad that you would have people actually out here lying, and you are the people who are actually suffering from it. I don't feel it's right. Some of those pains never go away. And for you to lie about stuff like that, you don't know how the other person can feel. Especially when it does get put out there that you were lying. Stop making poor choices and irrash decisions. Think about the betterment again of yourself. Think about the betterment of your growth on all angles. You're gonna have to mature whether you like it or not on all angles. And again, you should never be afraid to bet on yourself. Get to doing what's necessary and right. You don't gotta be a perfect role model. You don't gotta be a goody two shoes. But there's just some avenues in life that you should never want to travel. Because again, there is no road of return coming back from those roads. You'll either be labeled an outcast or you just ain't going to be as beneficial or impactful as you would want to be because you've wasted golden time and opportunities, especially if it was certain things you felt you really wanted to do. Don't put yourself in a situation where you don't miss the time window to be a part of that. Prime example, like I said, we have some real intelligent people, not just on these corners. Got intelligent people and real knowledgeable and skilled people behind bars. Some of them because of, again, crimes that they really could have avoided. Others, we know what it is. Always different angles and situations on why certain ones, especially the brilliant minds, are behind the walls. or why some of those brilliant minds never get a chance in life to really make it. We can go deep into that rabbit hole, but it's gonna come back to the same conclusion. It's all about self-control. And I'm gonna delve into that. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely delve into that one piece. We got to get to a conclusion on that part too. Um, why won't y'all just take the accountability for the things you need to take accountability for? That's for another night, though. I'll be a little calmer. I'll be a little calmer. Um, Again, for those who haven't been victims, or just for those who have heard and even witnessed things of these calibers, again, keep yourself safe at all costs. It was necessary. Because, yeah, I might have said something to the logical mind, but to the spiritual mind, I don't think I reached nobody. And if I did, that's well enough to know because it should ring in your head. Those type of acts sometimes have the most severe consequences. How severe, you'll never know. But like I said, I'm gonna definitely dig into this part right here because I don't know why some of y'all again would even go to that high links just to get your quote unquote again gratification or satisfaction. Just because you feel a type of way don't mean you do certain things that could take away somebody's livelihood, somebody's chances at growth. You made a selfish and an irrash decision not thinking about yourself. Yes, I'm calling you selfish because if you didn't think about yourself and your well-being or just your safety overall, or you didn't think about your integrity, you was being selfish. That's what I'm going to tell you. There's some of you who feel you can control a situation, and guess what? You can't. Situations that are not meant to be controlled, you'll find out the hard way. Because again, there is a such thing called karma. When that sucker bites you in the ass, sorry, it's gonna bite you in the ass. Now think before you do and be careful when you're doing it. Gotta be careful because you don't want to put yourself in that type of light in the first place. You gotta be careful because again, you might have to be separated from people that you love and care for. And why? Because you couldn't just get in control of it, couldn't do what you needed to do. Say this on both angles. Because yes, a controlling person will try to control every aspect of life. Even when they ain't aware that they try to, yeah, they try to control everything. But when they meet real opposition, they understand it a little bit more clear. You can't control and manipulate. And you definitely can't throw off any type of wrong past aggression, present aggression, or present traumas onto other people. It's selfish and it's definitely dangerous. Don't let nothing I said tonight go over your head. Stop plaguing and poisoning and messing up the minds of those who can be future game changers. Because it's solely your fault. In case anybody do want to again chime in, link is pinned. Other than that, I ain't gonna hold y'all all night. I think it finally stopped raining. I can finally go walk the fur pup. But even on a moral standpoint, again, there's some roads you just should never go down. There ain't no coming back from it. And again, some of you people in the community need to start being more watchful. Some of you who are taking the right steps, and I don't blame you, because again, look what the world has presented us, and look how much of it is presented. It feels like it's going to be unfixable in certain instances. Certain ones, yeah, you already know, because that's just going to be a part of life. But everything else that we know is just consciously wrong. Yeah, got to stand up against that. Because again, in my opinion, this world and these communities are supposed to be what it is. Some form of safety, especially for those who are coming up behind us and suffer certain traumas because we got selfish people that just refuse to get right with themselves and do right by themselves. Man, I don't know. This stage and juncture in life, oh man, what can I honestly say? I think it's sad that it's certain scenarios that can be fixed. And if fixed, it could actually be a little bit better for us now. Again, it is about trying to control what you can control. You can control some of these situations from continuously happening if you keep visual and be active. Because if you really stand against some of these things, you shouldn't be turning your eye to it when it is presenting itself right in your face. Again, stop just thinking about yourself and think about the right people, the people that actually need to be thought about. But like I said, I'll definitely tackle one of the main points. Definitely do that sometime this week. Just had to come chime in with the people. Like I said, I ain't do nothing yesterday, but I had to come bring something for the people today. And again, ladies, keep yourself safe at all angles. And for all the real fellas out there, if you see certain situations that are happening or that could be happening, don't be scared to do what you need to. Because you got to also think too. You have mothers, aunts, cousins, nieces. You might even have children. You don't want them to be a victim of something. Not that magnitude neither. You wouldn't want people being around knowing that that happened and didn't do nothing. So again, don't put yourself in that situation too. Intervene when you need to. You can save countless lives. And again, you could save some of the initial negativity that comes behind that. So again, it's just about loving and being compassionate again. Bring back the real righteousness of human spirit. When it don't sit right, gotta do right. Let me get up out of here. Definitely appreciate everybody that tuned in. And, most likely I'll be back in the morning with this site. And we're going to continue to keep bringing this. So hopefully somebody did get something out of this tonight. Because, again, this is needed. Marlene, what's going on, baby? And I appreciate everybody that's been a part. Oh, I already know. I already know, Sirius. Listen, I know that part. It's just, it's crazy. Again, you'll cry, mope about certain things never changing, but not being a part of change. So, what you gonna do? It should resonate at some point. I can't watch my sister and anybody else being attacked. I can't even watch a child getting attacked in front of me. So, yeah, you shouldn't either. Again, it should never get to that point. You got to start being more visual of who we leave and letting in the communities. It's really about it. But yeah, definitely appreciate everybody. And I'm gonna tackle a couple things in the morning too. Don't worry. You're always gonna have something to bring. And blessing as always. And again, hopefully y'all enjoyed your weekends. And enjoy your evenings. I'll probably see some of y'all running around these streets. And if not, you know why. Nonetheless, still gonna do what I gotta do. Y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. Everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I'm gonna do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. And hopefully y'all enjoy your evenings. I'm gonna try to enjoy my evening. I think it finally stopped raining. Wait a minute. Wait, did it finally stop raining? I think I got some love, y'all. Yeah, I needed it finally. So I know he about to get up. Yeah, we about to have a nice little walk. Who knows? Might be a little shortcoming. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And to the next live, we out here. Peace and blessings.